It is true that negative thinking can be very addictive. From my point of view, it is not caused by the chemical that's generated in the brain, although I do not deny that the chemicals in the body very often reflect certain things that happen on the mental emotional level. But what comes first, the chicken or the egg? If you become very angry, of course there are certain chemicals that are released in the body, and if you become peaceful, then they go. The addiction is not in the chemical, I don't deny that there is a chemical component to emotional states, but it is the addiction to negative thinking. And the addiction to negative thinking is usually connected to the pain body, which is the emotional field that feels fed, fueled by the negative thinking.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because I need them, because I don't always wake up and feel motivated to go take on the day, and the thing that saves me, that helps me every day, is being around people who are thinking bigger, who are changing the world, and it gives me a little more inspiration to go after my mission. And so I hope this video helps you go after yours today too. So today let's learn the secret blueprint that can shift your reality. Enjoy.
Meditation, the actual translation of the word meditation, means to become familiar with. So the first thing you have to do is you have to become conscious of your unconscious thoughts. You got to notice your automatic habits and behaviors. And you have to become aware of your emotions that keep you anchored to the past. And if you can become so conscious of the unconscious states of mind and body that they would never slip by your conscious awareness again, you're becoming familiar with the old self so you don't return. Then if you begin to think about new ways of being defined by a vision, plan your behaviors, review them in your mind. Now, if you keep doing that over and over again, nerve cells that fire together wire together. You begin to become familiar with a new state of mind. At the same time, if you can emotionally cultivate your inspiration, your joy, your enthusiasm ahead of the experience, by repeating that over and over again, cultivating that state, it's going to begin to become familiar to you. So then the process of change then requires unlearning and relearning, breaking the habit of the old self, reinventing a new self. Pruning synaptic connections, as we say in neuroscience, and sprouting new connections, unmemorizing emotions that are stored in the body. Then here's the key, reconditioning the body to a new mind and to a new emotion. It's literally moving from your past to your future. It's losing your mind and creating a new one. And so then when you begin to understand that in that process, it's going to feel a little bit unfamiliar, uncomfortable. And if you can relax into that, instead of going back to the past, continuously invest in your future, sooner or later, it'll begin to become easier and easier and easier. And all of a sudden, when you least expect it, something amazing is going to happen in your life. And when that event begins to occur, you're going to pay attention to what you did inside of you now to produce the effect outside of you. And that's called human empowerment. And there isn't a person in the world that's excluded from this equation.
Rule number 2 is create a vision board with John Assaraf.
A lot of people ask me if I still use a vision board like I showed in the smash hit movie The Secret, and the answer is I do, but it's slightly different than the one I used to have. I am sitting here in Port Andrax in Mallorca, Spain, and this is a little bit of what's been on my vision board in the last several years. And if you take a look at this area, it's one of the most beautiful little paradise islands anywhere in the world, surrounded by the Mediterranean. Now, why am I showing you that? Well, this is my Exceptional Life Blueprint, and in this Exceptional Life Blueprint I have pictures of let me just move the camera a little bit, my wife, my kids, my family, and I have pictures of things that I've already achieved, and homes that we've either owned, jets that we've flown, places that we've vacationed, cars that either I want to have or I want to, or that I do have, and experiences that I want to enjoy. We rented this in Maldives last year. We have a home in Colorado over here. This was in Bali. I'm sorry, in the South Pacific Islands of Bora Bora. We've rented yachts. We've been in the most beautiful places. Now, why am I sharing this with you? You think I'm trying to impress you? And the answer is I'm not trying to impress you. I want to just show you something. I want to impress upon you something. First, you have to get a vision of what it is you want to trade your life for. And it's not about the cars and the houses and the trips. Like, what do you want to have your life feel like? What do you want to achieve in your health, wealth, relationship, career, business, contribution, charity, etc.? The reason it's so critical to start off with a vision, even when you do not know how to achieve it, and you probably know this, I left high school at grade 11. I was voted most likely to fail. English and math, I failed in grade 7. I didn't think I was smart enough, good enough, worthy enough. But I had a guy by the name of Alan Brown, my first mentor when I was 19, that asked me, like, what do you want to trade your life for? What would you like your life to be like? And he dared me to dream. And at the time I said, well, I'd love a 4-bedroom house. I'd love to get a job that I'm making more than $1.65 an hour, which is what I was making in a shipping department of Philips Electronics. And I was doing a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been doing as a teenager. But he helped me create a vision first, even though it was a fantasy. It wasn't even a fantasy. It didn't even feel like it could be a fantasy because I didn't have any idea how to achieve it. And once I created my vision for health, wealth, relationships, career, business, fun, experiences, travel, etc., he said to me, what would you need to believe in order to achieve these things? And I said, well, I guess I would need to believe that I'm smart enough. He says, yes. He says, what else would you need to believe? I said, well, I guess I would need to believe that it's possible. He says, yes. He said, what else would you need to believe? I said, well, I guess I would need to believe that it's possible for me and that I'm worthy of it and that I deserve it. And I went on to list all of these beliefs. And he helped me with a few beliefs, I would need to believe and have the self-discipline. And then he went on to say, well, what would your identity need to be like? And I was like, identity? What do you mean? He says, well, everybody has character traits that they're abiding by right now. But in order to achieve these big goals that you have, you'd have to have some new character traits. And he said things like self-confidence, things like certainty, things like feeling empowered, things like feeling you can overcome anything, things like knowing that you can learn anything to apply what is needed to achieve those goals. He says, in order to achieve the goals that you have, the vision that you wrote down on this, sheet of paper, which he gave me, you have to create the identity and the character traits to behave in those ways. You have to practice to make those permanent in your mind. So practice is what makes permanent. He says a lot of people are practicing the wrong things and they're making the wrong self-image permanent, the wrong identity permanent, the wrong beliefs permanent, the wrong habits permanent. He says in order to achieve any goal you want to achieve, you have to create the right patterns that drive the right behaviors that achieve the results you want.
Rule number 3 is develop an abundance mindset with Gabby Bernstein.
I was brought up with a major lack mentality. I grew up in a very wealthy town and my family really struggled financially, so that separation was real. There was a lot of concern, a lot of uncertainty, constant fear around finances. And I made a quantum shift. I decided to have a quantum shift. I chose to adjust my mentality around money early on. And so much of it is what I'm going to teach you today. Really grounding myself in possibility, grounding myself in the truth that my parents' stories did not have to be mine. Noticing that when I put hard work into something, that money was reciprocal, that I was receiving for what I was putting out. I was 19 years old and I started promoting parties in New York City. And the first night that I promoted a party, everybody said, Gabby at the door. And I got a percentage of the bar. And that night I walked out of that bar with $1,000 cash. And I remember standing there in the streets of New York City, like holding my cash close to my handbag and just like clutching my bag and thinking, wow, I just figured out how to make some money. And from that point forward, I made the decision that I was going to seek abundance rather than lack. And for me, that was a quantum shift. Not everybody has a quantum shift like that. But for me, with money, I had a quantum shift. I made the decision in that moment to choose abundance over lack. I believe that's available to you right here, right now, listening to this show. There are all kinds of ways that we can earn, all kinds of creative possibilities for earning. And when we open our hearts and our minds and our willingness and our courage to actually do work, to show up, to be willing to earn, and we start to shift our energy around what's possible, we open up to that creative mindset. Show me creative possibilities for abundance. We stop limiting ourselves and we get ourselves out of that confined lack mentality. A lack mentality of there's not enough to go around. A lack mentality of, oh, well, so-and-so is already doing it. How could I? A lack mentality of, oh, who could I be to do this? Who am I to even want that? A lack mentality that might be really ingrained in your upbringing, belief systems that you carry on. A lack mentality that's keeping you small, keeping you stuck, keeping you from possibility. And opening our hearts to what is possible begins with even that simple prayer. I'm open to creative possibilities for abundance. Say that out loud right now. I'm open to creative possibilities for abundance. How does that feel in your body? Say it again. I'm open to creative possibilities for abundance. What is that resonance in your energy? How does that feel? When you open your mind and your conscious awareness to more of what's possible starts to be presented to you. Just starting even right here, right now with that prayer, I'm open to creative possibilities for abundance. I want you now to pay attention to the abundance that is around you.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 4 is manifest your dream with Grant Cardone.
I want to share 3 things with you that I truly believe in this manifestation thing. Now, I'm not that voodoo law of attraction guy, but I can tell you, images, pictures, locking in on something, looking at other possibilities, getting examples of other people doing things is so valuable. I mean, it's our first way to learn is to mimic, is to see as babies, we see our parents playing with their phones. Guess what? We want to pick up the phone and play with the phone. We see our parents typing on a computer. The kids want to do what? They want to come type on your computer. They don't even know how to use it yet. It's mimicking. It's basically taking something else somebody has done. Boom, boat, I want boat. Okay? It's the way we learn to cook. You watch your mom cook eggs or fry bacon or make oatmeal and she's got her own recipe. Guess what? That's the recipe you use. So we end up with all these little twerks and weird habits. Back in the 50s, all our parents smoked. So what happened when the kids grew up? They picked up smoking and alcohol, etc. So the first thing to do is on the manifestation thing is you got to have some pictures, right? If you don't have those pictures, you have poverty around you, you have struggle, you have, like I grew up in struggle. I didn't grow up in poverty, I grew up in a struggle. Even though we had enough, okay, it was always this idea that there wasn't enough. Even when there was enough, it was crazy. Even when we had enough, dude, it was always this idea that we didn't have enough. And I keep moving around on this because I want you guys to see these views. They're just ridiculous. Beautiful little town of Positano that is filled with magic. Okay, and for those of you who've never traveled here or been over this part of the world, man, come over here, figure out, literally sit down. This is one of the things I do. First, I lock in on a picture, bang, yacht. Second thing I'm gonna do is try to get as close to that thing on the manifestation thing. Not the law of attraction, but the law of action, okay? First I see it, then I'm gonna close the distance. Now, it took me 20 years to get on this beast, okay? But what I could do in between then, and I hope it doesn't take you 20 years,
is I'd start collecting pictures and images, okay, until I could actually put my feet on them. Get as close as you can between you and the target. So if it's a boat, a plane, a business ownership, an RV, a car, whatever it is, okay, what you want to do is take pictures of it, collect images of it, okay, maybe reinforce those by looking at them often, thinking about them, just playing with it. Don't even worry about how to get it, what it's going to take to get it. And the second thing is to start closing the distance between you and that image. Could be pictures, could be images, could be research. It could be you going to the car dealership and actually sitting in the car, or, getting an appointment to go see the house. I remember, this is insane to think this, but I remember when I did not think that I could get somebody to show me a house. I remember when I was Elena and I were in LA. I wanted to see this house that was for sale, and I was concerned that they wouldn't think enough of me to even let me see the house. So if you guys have ever struggled with all this limited thinking, okay, but later I bought the house. I was literally bought the house, ended up making, on that house, I made like $12 million or something. And I did not think when I went into the house that I was going to be able to even see the house. So if you suffer from a self-esteem issue, or sense of self, or I was telling my daughter the other day, I said, man, I've had self-esteem issues my whole life. Not thinking I was good enough, not thinking I could get there. I'm still doing it today. I started thinking about, last time I was here 20 years ago, one day I'm going to be on a boat here in Positano. Now I'm thinking, one day I'm going to be here on my own boat. What do you want to be on, okay? So number one, okay, take a picture of it. 2, close the distance. And 3, at some point, you're going to have to start doing the math. And the math for me is this. What would it take to buy this? What is the resources, the beans, the coins, the dollars, the energy, the output, the number of people I need to make contact with? And if I can't figure that out, just figure this simple math out. How did he do it? How did he do it? How did he do it? What business are they in? What did they do to do this? How did they get it? And maybe it's just a charter, okay? So nothing wrong with that, okay? Hope you guys do well. Hope you figure out some things that really get rich in your mind about your manifestations, about what you want, what your purpose is, what's driving you to fuel you so you can, and you and your family can have a great life. If you ever get to Positano, okay, let me know.
Rule number 5 is eliminate negative thoughts with Eckhart Tolle.
It is true that negative thinking can be very addictive. From my point of view, it is not caused by the chemical that's generated in the brain, although I do not deny that the chemicals in the body very often reflect certain things that happen on the mental, emotional level. But what comes first, the chicken or the egg? So if you become very angry, of course there are certain chemicals that are released in the body, and if you become peaceful, then they go. The addiction is not in the chemical, I don't deny that there is a chemical component to emotional states, but it is the addiction to negative thinking. And the addiction to negative thinking is usually connected to the pain body, which is the emotional field that feels fed, fueled by the negative thinking. So addiction means it feels, on some level, it feels good. If you're addicted to something, on some level, it feels good. If you're addicted to alcohol, the drinking feels good while you drink, not afterwards, but while you drink. So if you're addicted, to whom does it feel good? Not to you, not to the physical body, because the physical body suffers through it, but to the pain body. This emotion loves to get more of the same energy by generating further negative thinking in your mind. And it feeds on it because it doesn't get enough food through the drama in your relationship. So the awareness has to come in so that you break the link between your pain body and your thought processes. That is the key, is to sever the link between your thought processes and the pain body. In order to sever the link between those, there needs to be enough awareness, presence. Only the presence can sever the link. The presence comes in, and so you no longer, the emotion is no longer controlling your thought activity. That's the key. And that's the beginning of the end of that vicious circle that otherwise will take over your life. So what is needed is for you to be there in the moments these thoughts occur, or immediately after, and then immediately look at the thought and say, there it's again, and do not believe it.
Rule number 6 is practice meditation with Jay Shetty.
I have taken different practices from different traditions that I find fascinating. Overall, I follow a text called the Vedas, which is a universal text which doesn't have a religion or particular spiritual path aligned to it. It's just speaking universally about practices like meditation and wisdom and knowledge. And so for me, I practice 3 different forms of meditation: breath work, visualization, and mantra, which is the repetition of sacred sound. A lot of what I practice is inspired out of India because that was the tradition I lived in as a monk. And so to me, but I honestly, having said that, you know, I've loved pretty much every spiritual text I've picked up. I tell and read stories from so many different traditions. I consider myself a practitioner, you know, like a citizen of the world when it comes to culture and spirituality, because I feel like I can genuinely learn from any path and any tradition.
And rule number 7, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is live in the present moment with Michael A. Singer.
So the great spiritual path, which is also the great way of life, is to turn this back, is to say, life has the right to be the way it is. It's very grand of you, I think, right? Life has the right, the moment in front of me has the right to be the way it is. There are forces, doesn't mean I like it, doesn't mean I can give lots of reasons why it would be better another way. That doesn't change anything. I think it'd be neat if we could fly, so we didn't have to have planes and we'd have to go through TSA and get it all takes so long, right? Come on, guys, grow up. You start by honoring and respecting reality. So you come into the moment and you do the work you need to do to stop making up an alternate reality and trying to impose it on top of reality. Oh, people get really scared with that. Well, how will I succeed? I want to know how you manage succeeding fighting with everything. I'm telling you, 90% of all of your shakti, your chi, your energy is wasted suppressing the stuff from the past, using your mind to make up how you want it to be, make all those decisions that are so important, and then fighting with everybody and everything. And you're using so much energy, you have no idea. Imagine if you were taking that golf shot and ask a golf pro, well, what I'm going to do is every movement, when I move my arms back, I'm going to think, am I doing it right? Maybe I should go another degree. And then I'll watch and I'll see it's right. How's that shot going to be? No one will tell you to hit a shot like that. It's supposed to be a fluid, free action, period. There's not supposed to be any mind involved. It is supposed to be a complete merger of your whole being and all of your energy into the oneness of hitting that ball. Go ask anybody. All right, that's it. That's martial arts, that's sports, that's everything. It's the same way with life. If you stop this mishigas, this craziness that we are doing with our minds, and come into the present moment and ask that moment, what is the highest we could do together? That's what you've asked the golf ball that's sitting on the edge of the rough. What is the highest we can do together? How can I join you in the rough and participate in this moment and bring the joy that can exist in this moment and do the best that I can? Because the best you can do is the best that you can do in the moment. It's not something you made up hypothetically. If you live that way, each moment will be better in the next moment. You will have brought your best game to every single moment you're doing. That goes for everything. It goes for business, it goes for relationships. If you're in a relationship and somebody comes to you and says, I need to talk to you, those dreaded words. When you come back from work tonight, that's really nice. We need to have a talk. I've been meaning to talk to you for a while, but I've been scared, but I'm ready. My therapist said I should talk to you. Okay, all right. So you're going to have one hell of a day, aren't you? Your mind's going to make up what they're going to talk to you about, right? This, that, what you're going to say back. This is going to be terrible. And then you're going to sit down, and by the time you did all that, the person's going to sit down and start to talk and sit there and say, I'm really sorry, because I care for you. It starts like that. But there are just some things, and right away out of your mouth, because you've decided what they're talking about, right? It's not true, I didn't do that. I know you think, I always knew you, I thought that you did that. But it's not true, I didn't do it. George did it. He just lied to you. Wow. Wow, I'm going to jump the gun a little bit here. In other words, what you're going to do, you want to protect yourself from something you are not comfortable with, and you're going to try to use this conversation so that you walk away feeling a little bit better because you didn't feel comfortable with it all day. That's very different than you're going to use this conversation. This person you care about has said, I need some help with something, rather than bringing yourself into the moment, trying to see, can I be of some assistance? You don't care about what that person's going through. You care about what you're going through because that person is threatening you. And therefore, every word you say and everything you hear and everything they do will be about you. It won't be about them. That's how it gets when the emotions get involved, isn't it? It'll be about protecting yourself. Well, if you protect yourself, you're the worst partner that ever lived. If you come into that moment, let go of the part of you that is your personal, come into the moment, this is your friend, this is your partner, and listen to what the person has to say. Literally, listen. Maybe you'll hear something. Maybe something can be improved. Maybe it has nothing to do with what you're thinking about anyways. Maybe they want to tell you, I just wanted to tell you that I've always wanted to go back to Ireland, and I know you work hard. I bought the tickets. Please don't be mad at me. It's for our anniversary. Forget what I said about George.
On your mission that you're on, what challenges with that format that you've built have you faced for what's next? And what's been the advantage of that format for what you've been able to build and the impact that you're making in the world?
My biggest limitation is still lack of belief. So people say, well, you're the believe guy. It's like, yeah, but I believe in myself to do the things that I've done now, but to do the next big thing, I don't believe myself to do the next big. So I still need the channel for myself because I want to wake up and have Oprah Winfrey or Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or whoever it is whispering messages in my ear to get me going to do the next thing. One of my you talk about the format of giving tribute to other people. At the beginning, it was just, hey, I've learned this from these people, and I think you might be able to learn too. I was just hoping to shortcut the path because my worst day in my first business was when I said I quit on my business partner. And I woke up the next day and said, I can't quit yet because I'm going to regret this if I don't figure this out. At least if it doesn't work out, fine, but at least know that I gave it everything because I don't want to look back and say, I wish I just tried a little bit harder. But I couldn't keep going the way that I was going. So I had to find another path. And the thing that came to me was I can't be the first person to try to solve this problem. Like somebody's figured this out. Why don't I just model success? Like model success wasn't words that I would use. It was probably a lot more clumsy, but I can't be the first person to figure this out. Somebody's done it. And that's where I studied Bill Gates. It's like Bill Gates had who's got a software company? I had a software company. So who's got a successful software company? Bill Gates came to mind. This was not very advanced planning. It's just top of dome. Okay, how did Microsoft get started? And how did he build? Not so much how does Bill Gates make an extra $1 million now? Who cares? But 0 to 1, how do you do that? And it was through partnerships. And learning how he applied that in Microsoft, I brought that to my business and quickly after had my first check for $13,500. And that may not seem like a lot, but when you're making $300 a month, $13,500, it's like, holy cow, this is a grand slam here. And more importantly, I could do that again. That was just one deal. I could close more deals. So the strategy there was model success. Find people who have done this and put that to use in your business or your life. And so I then went on this mission to continue learning how I can model other people's success. And then that eventually became a YouTube channel where I shared a lot of messages. a surprising benefit of that has been I've gotten to meet some of these people. You know, like I was just profiling some of them, and then now I get to do interviews with them or go hang out with them or go to their houses, and some of them have become friends, which was never part of the idea of what I could do. It's just, hey, I love your message. I'm trying to get it out to the world, because if I learn from it, maybe other people like me can learn from it. And it's been amazing to be able to foster all those connections too.
In that year when I was really broken, I was working at LA Unified School District. I was miserable. I was miserable because I wasn't living in my dream. I was just doing a job. And then one day I said, well, what do I need to do? I need to buy my freedom. That's what I need to do. I need to buy my freedom. Well, I don't know about buying my freedom. I don't know about having money saved up. My family didn't have money saved up. My mother used to tell me, oh, this money is burning my pocket. So I know two things about money. It's hot, and we can't keep it long. We'd always have 1 week where we had all the food in the refrigerator, and then 1 week where the refrigerator was empty. Right? Come on. Some of you guys know about that. To this day, I spend so much money on groceries. You guys, oh my God, it's like I'm feeding like a family of 10. Because I'm so afraid of anybody ever being in my house and being hungry. Right? And so I wrote a check to myself. Jelani was 3. $110. I took it to the bank, Wells Fargo. I started a new account. The next check I wrote, $125. And just like the first check, I put in the memo line, funding my dream. I wasn't even clear what the dream was, but I knew there was something in my belly. Who in this room know you got something in your belly? There's something here. I'm not even clear about it. I don't know how clear you are, but I wasn't clear about it. But I knew there was a calling on my life greater than working for LA Unified School District. And no disrespect to LA Unified School District, it just wasn't my destiny. I wrote another check in 2 weeks, $146, funding my dream. Now I started mailing the checks in because I didn't want to see my balance, because I didn't want to go shopping. Because you're going to repeat what you learn, right? Until you decide to not repeat what you learned. So I mailed the check in, and then I wrote another check. And I wrote another check. And every check I wrote, I made sure it was 5% more than the first check, the previous check. I sold my Altima. I had a car note. Sold my Altima, bought a clunker because it didn't have a car note. Now I can write a bigger check, funding my dream. I moved out of my 3-bedroom, 3-bath house and moved in, became a roommate with my friend who smoked. I put towels at the base of the door so the smoke wouldn't come through the door. I was willing to be inconvenienced, are you? I'm just saying, I'm just showing you the story the charge I just gave you. I stopped getting my hair done. That was when I started going natural. I stopped going out. I stopped going out dancing. I stopped going out to dinners. My family didn't know what was going on. They thought, oh my God, it was LA. She's on drugs, but she's not losing weight, so maybe not. I don't know what's going on. I kept writing bigger checks to myself. $900. $900. I mailed it to Wells Fargo, funding my dream. $1,100. Mailed it to Wells Fargo, funding my dream. I still wasn't clear what the dream was. I just knew I had one, and it was being born through me, and I needed to give it a chance. That's all I knew. You don't have to see 2,000 feet in front of you. Just see 200 and run to the 200. Yes. You don't have to see it all. 3.5 years later, I'd written a check to myself every 2 weeks for 3.5 years. I didn't go out for 3.5 years. I didn't go dancing. I didn't get my hair done. I didn't get my nails done for 3.5 years. Are you willing to be inconvenienced for your conviction? I walk in to Wells Fargo 3.5 years later, and I said, hi, God bless you. Hi, my name is Lisa Nichols. She goes, oh my God, you're the funding my dream lady. I was like, yeah, I guess I am. And all of a sudden, all the tellers came running around. The manager came, they're like, oh my God, okay, oh my God, we have been wondering. We all got the same question. Y'all know what the question is, right? What's your dream? I was like, I'm not sure, but I know that it includes inspiring people, having people believe in themselves again, teaching them how to get back up when they've been knocked down, having them to be willing to give themselves 1,000 second chances. And every time they get to 999, press reset. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but it's just going to help people. I said, I came to check my balance. I've been writing a few checks to you guys. They say, yes, you've been writing a lot. I said, I just want to check my balance. They said, you don't know your balance? I said, no, I got this really big stack of summary bank statements at home because my mama said money burns her pocket, and I don't want it to burn my pocket. I want it to pay for my freedom. I said, I just came to see what my balance was, if I had enough to fund my dream as it gets clearer. She wrote it down. Everyone's excited. She wrote it down, turned it around to me. I looked at it. I said, oh, no, my name is Lisa Shantae Nichols, and my Social Security number, I said, that is not my money, and I am not taking that money because you're probably going to want it back. So just fix that error right now. And they looked at me. They said, you really don't think that's yours? I said, no, my family's never had $5,000 in the bank or $10,000 in the bank. That's $62,500 in the bank. They said, Miss Nichols, and everyone teared up. The manager teared up, the tellers teared up. They said, Miss Nichols, whatever your dream is, I think you can fund it now. I looked at my son, Jelani, who now is 5 or 6, and I said, Jelani, our lives are gonna be a little different now, baby. Jelani said, yeah, Mommy, can we now go to McDonald's? See, for 3 years I've been telling Jelani, I'll make you a Big Mac. Mama makes Big Macs better than McDonald's. And so it began with a $110 check. So I don't know what yours is. I don't know what your radical looks like. For some of you, your radical was coming here, right? Yes, yes? Yes. And this is the beginning. Yes, yes. This is the beginning of your radical. This is the next best step. This is the first step. And so I just stopped by to let you know you're on the right path. And as you ramp up, you're going to have questions. You're going to be afraid. I do more things afraid now than I do fearless. Because the bigger you play, the bigger your breakdowns. Every single one of my errors in the last 5 years have cost me 6 figures. Like every single one. Every single one of my errors has required me to call an attorney. Like they're just big, because I'm playing big. I'm playing big, so be willing to go to the edge. And this is where you are here. Be willing to go to the edge and not just lean over and feel the breeze and watch the people jump and watch them soar and look through the windows at all the people who are living great lives. Don't just go to the edge and feel it. Be willing to lean. Feel your heartbeat. Feel it. That lets you know you're alive. That lets you know you're okay. Fear fuels you. Fear lets you know, go get more information. Fear lets you know, stay up a little later and study. Fear lets you know, get up a little earlier. Fear lets you know, ask for help. Fear is informing you. It's not stopping you. It's just another emotion like love and compassion and gratitude. We just made it paralyze us. See, fear doesn't stop me. Fear informs me. And when you get intimately connected with the fear, I feel it. And I'm moving forward anyway. I feel it. And I'm going to love anyway. I feel it. And I'm going to invest in me anyway. I feel it. And I'm going to show up and play anyway. When you get connected with fear, it becomes your best friend. And when you stand on the edge, You feel the breeze. You feel the fear. And you leap anyway.
What does max out really stand for you? And when did that moment happen where you knew that that was going to be part of your brand?
Yeah, my son's name's Max, so that helped. But maxed out to me means this, as you know, your obsessions become your possessions. Whatever you end up being obsessed with, you'll eventually possess. So if you're obsessed with what you're worried about, your fears, your problems, you're going to possess those. And so I became obsessed. The short version is that, and you don't know this, I don't talk about this on camera very much. When I was 30, my uncle died at 50 years old. And he was the guy in my family, we all have this, that you kind of resemble or remind everybody of.
Oh, right.
My dad's brother. He died at 50.
Sorry.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a long time ago now. Yeah. And but he was my godfather, and in my culture, that's a big deal.
Of course, mine as well.
Yeah, I know. And,
shout out Uncle Mike.
Yeah, mine was Uncle Mike. Wow. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's got chills everywhere right there. Whoa, 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 whoa. 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 Man.
That's how the universe works, right?
Ooh. Wow, okay. You got me right there. So mine was my Uncle Mike. Wow. And
oh man, that just touched me.
So mine was my Uncle Mike. And that blows my mind right there, brother. So I'm at his funeral. We're flying back. On the flight, there's this thing in your brain called the reticular activating system. It basically filters into your awareness what's important to you. That's why, like, if you buy a new car, all of a sudden you see that car everywhere on the freeway, 3 lanes over, on the other side, boom, another one. They were always there. Why do you see them now? It's filtered into your importance. And heart attacks were he died of a heart attack. And so I'm on the airplane and I'm listening to music, and on the screen's the Oprah show, but it's in my awareness, and it's a heart on the screen. I'm like, unplug my headphones, plug it into the phone system, and it was about a new heart scan that was happening at Cedars-Sinai, where they could, it's common now, but they could non-invasively look at your heart and your arteries. Long story short, I hear it, and I told my wife, I said, schedule me for one of those exams. Right. She's like, it's expensive. I said, I don't care, schedule it. We call, it's a 9-month wait. I go, I need to get in. I keep calling the lady. Finally, she goes, there's a cancellation tomorrow at 2. I go, I'll be there. So I go down for the scan. And thank God this doctor understood influence and leverage. You do the scan, then you come back after lunch. I literally went, ate a burrito, came back, I wasn't in shape. I'm 30 years old. The doctor comes out and he goes, I'm looking for Edward Milet. I go, it's Milet, and he goes, he knew. And he goes, whoa, I can't believe these arteries are in that young a body. Wow. You need to come back, son. Now my heart's racing. I'm like, what the hell's in this scan? We sit down. Instead of what a normal doctor would do, they just go, hey, here's the prescription, take Crestor, work out, eat good, bye. He understood reasons is what changes people's lives. Massive reasons, not discipline, reasons and habits, right? He goes, let me ask you a question. Your wife's beautiful. Do you have kids? I go, yeah. I got a son, he's 1. He goes, that's great. Do you want to be there when he graduates high school? I went, what? He goes, do you want to be there when he graduates high school? I said, yeah. He goes, okay, is she pregnant, huh? I go, yeah, what is she having? I said, a girl. You get to a dad, this is what you say. He goes, would you like to walk that little girl down the aisle on her wedding day, son? I went, what? What is in this scan, dude? And he goes, I want to be very clear with you, young man. I remember this like yesterday. He goes, I want to be very clear with you, young man. If you continue down the road you're going, another man's going to live with your beautiful wife in your mansion, walk your son at graduation, and he's going to be arm in arm with your daughter on her wedding day, not you. You'll be long gone. Actually, as I tell you this right now, dude, right? Wow. And he goes, what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to max out your life and your fitness. And I went, give me it. Yeah. And he gave me exactly what I needed to do. And he said, if you do this, you'll walk her down the aisle, blah, blah, blah. From that day, when I get up like I did this morning and I'm tired and I was late last night and I don't want to go to the gym, I swear to you, brother, I swear to you, I go, Bella's wedding, get your ass up. And I go. I'm fit because I have massive reasons. That's why I'm fit. And that started the journey towards maxing out every area of my life. I'm like, if I can do this in my fitness, I can do this in business, I can do this in my spirituality and everything. I'm not going to shortchange myself by pretty good. I'm going to see what my real potential is, what my maximum capacity is every single day. Because at the end of my life, when I do die, I have this belief that when I'm done, the Lord's going to go, well done, good and faithful servant. And by the way, here's the man you could have been. This is the man you were born to be. This is the man you were destined to be. This is where you could have gone, what you could have seen, the memories you could have had, the people you could have helped, the person you could have become. Right. Meet him. My obsession is that every day I'm chasing that dude, so that when I do die, we meet, we're identical twins. Because the bad end of a life, whether it would be at 30, 50, or 150, would be I meet that guy and we're total strangers.
Yeah.
So I'm obsessed with meeting that guy someday, and that's what maxing out means.
It dawned on me that sometimes we don't have the right frames when we're doing something, and we don't give things the right meanings. And let me explain what I mean to you by that. When we start something new, I think sometimes we forget that anything that is new to our brain may be exciting and may release dopamine, the neurochemical that is the reward neurochemical. And we feel good because we've taken on this new endeavor, whether it's a new language, whether it's retraining our brain, whether it's starting to exercise or eating better or committing to doing something that's of benefit to us, or even stopping something. Now, the very nature of how our brain works is that patterns that have been repeated over, months and years are the dominant patterns in our brain. And therefore, it's easier for our brain to activate and follow through to completion on those patterns. It's like having a highway system that's been built. It's easy for the cars to go faster on the highway system. Well, the same thing is true with our brain and the neural networks and pathways. So the pathways are the easiest for the chemicals to travel across and release the neurochemicals, that make us feel good or make us feel fearful or make us feel apprehensive or doubtful, etc., are the ones that are the easiest for our brain to activate and follow through on. Okay, part one. So that means that a new pattern, meaning stopping something or starting something, requires a little bit more of the brain's energy, and the brain wants to conserve energy. So what is our brain naturally going to do? And the answer is it's going to resist. Why? Because it wants to preserve the energy that may be required in case there's a saber-toothed tiger that comes around from, the woods to try and kill you. So we're in this energy conservation mindset without even knowing it. Our biology is geared towards doing things that are easy for us, not things that require energy, right? Glucose. So why am I sharing this with you? Well, as you're, on your journey of brain training, upgrading your knowledge and skills, taking actions, probably different actions than you were taking to achieve the results that you want more and better results it requires you accessing higher cortical functions and a higher level of awareness, especially, pay close attention, especially when you feel resistance. Now, I came out here, I still have my workout gloves on, because as I was doing some ab work, as I was doing, some bench press and flies for my chest, one of the things that dawned on me is most people do things that they're comfortable doing, but in order to get stronger from a cardiovascular perspective, you have to challenge yourself. Mix up your routines. You've got to go a little bit longer, a little bit harder, on the days that you want to expand your capabilities. So in the world of, doing weights for strength training or building muscle, there are certain techniques to use and certain strategies to use, including rest, right? Muscles built in the rest phase. So let me explain what I'm talking about. I think you know where I'm going with this. When I, let's say, do a bench press or a fly, or I walk up a hill, the place where it's the hardest, where there's resistance, where I want to quit and stop and I'm breathing heavier, I just can't do another rep, that's the point of the growth. And the more you practice at that place, right, the resistance, the point of I want to quit, I can't do it anymore, that is how you expand your capacity. Resistance happens when you're at the edges of your capacity. Now, it could be mental edges, emotional edges, physical edges.
financial edges. And how does it show up? It shows up as stress, right? Stress. So stress happens when your current capacity, let me repeat, stress happens when your current capacity exceeds the demand. Your current capacity exceeds the demand. So how do you increase demand? I'm sorry, how do you increase capacity? Well, you feel the edges and go one more. You feel the tension and keep doing it. You feel the desire to quit, but then you do as much as you can. And as you do as much as you can, you get mentally stronger, physically stronger, emotionally stronger. So when I feel like, let's say, quitting, I just say just a little bit more. When I don't feel like it, I say, I know, but just do a little bit. Why? Because I want to override my natural and your natural propensity to want to quit, to want to stop. It's natural. But I don't want to be natural. I want to be supernatural. I don't want to be ordinary. I want to be extraordinary. And that's that little extra. Does that make sense? So as you're training your brain, as you have videos to watch to upgrade your knowledge and skills, as you have events to attend, to connect, to listen, to learn, to expand, if you catch yourself thinking or feeling, I don't feel like it, I'm too tired, not today, tomorrow, that's the language, okay, that the brain uses, the rationalizations, the rational lies that your brain, my brain, everybody's brain uses to keep you in your comfort zone. Well, guess what? Everything you want financially, in your relationship, health-wise, is just outside your comfort zone. And if you keep challenging and expanding your mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, financial comfort zones, you expand as a human being and you start fulfilling more of your potential than standing on the edge of it, hoping and praying and wishing that you can have greater, better results.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag Believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome.
To learn the unwritten rules of life, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
So first, let's start with a high five. Like, think about when in your life you have either given or received high fives. What does a high five from someone else or a high five that you're giving to somebody else communicate?
You're on the same team.